Hey trainers, welcome back to Pokemon Deck Check. I would be Pokedad.
I'm the Dancing Bear.
And today we're going to do a meta forecast, not for a specific regional, because for whatever reason, Pokemon this time is not doing a combo of releasing the new set and then immediately having the cards playable for a regional, right?
Indeed.
Normally they become legal the third weekend or the third Friday of the month, and then the following Saturday, Sunday, a regional tournament. So this time it's a little bit different. There's not another regional till the 29th, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So, so you're going to be looking at League Cups, League Challenges that when these cards are legal, the newest set, Cosmic Eclipse. So we're just going to try to give our insight the best we can as to what you might see, what maybe you should be playing, or some good rogue options that could surprise the field, right?
Yeah.
All right, so how do you want to do this? What are the kind of big three that
Yeah.
you need to prepare for?
I feel like that's how we normally start them off.
All right, I think Garatina Garchomp is kind of right now. I'm kind of leaning towards it being in tier one. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I agree.
I think it gains a lot from the new set. I think of all the decks, it might gain the most. It and one other deck.
I feel like once we put in the Dragon Claw,
And the Mimikyu. Yeah.
I feel like once adding that, the Dragon Claw, it really allowed the numbers to be a lot better than what they were. You don't have to set up the first attack and then the second one. If they hit into you, it kind of sets up the second attack for a big KO.
Yeah. And then with the addition of the new Mimikyu, yeah, it's super, super good. And the new Psychic Party Balloon, Blacephalon, allowing you to spread a whole bunch of damage around. So I really like it. I think it has a lot of tools, a lot of positives going forward. Yeah. So, what do you think about another deck that you would put in tier one?
Another deck. I think Blacephalon's still a strong option. With all these big tag teams, it can make a good prize exchange 2 for 3. And I feel like that could be very important.
Until I see evidence pointing me in the opposite direction of Party Balloon is no longer viable, it will remain at the very top of my recommendation and tier list. It gains. I mean, now you lost Guzma, which really helped it out, right? But now you have Custom Catcher, which you can selectively target down something. And with you being able to discard energy to also help power it up in conjunction with the Great Catcher, it's amazing, right?
Still a super good deck.
So I don't think there's any doubt right there. It's kind of a rogue, a little bit, but I think it gains a lot from the set. And it has some really good matchups going forward. And we can talk about the matchups here in a bit. But I think it's positioned really nice in this field. You can...
Ultra Beast Charm.
That shuts down that.
Weakness.
You're hitting for weakness, and you have the charm.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we have our newest competitor entering the scene, the new Reshiram, that's weak to Fairy. Plus, you have the charm. It also kind of has some protection from Psychic with against the Mewtwo Mew.
It's got the Psychic
decks.
Charm. And
It
the
also,
Ability Charm.
Yeah. I really like it.
It's got a good advantage.
If they're going with Ultra Necrozma, you have a good matchup there.
Still got the charms.
It was played at Worlds to counter Zekrom Pikachu, so you know that matchup's already super good with the Lightning Charm.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I think it's in the most perfect position right now in the meta. I really do.
Yeah.
Do you see an argument as to why it's not positioned really good in the meta?
I think the only problem is going to be the mirror match.
Mirror match, or maybe it still struggles with the single prize attack decks because uh,
Yeah.
the Garatinas can still two shot it.
Mm-hmm.
130, 130.
That's a negative prize exchange.
So I do see problems with the single prize Garatina Malamar type decks. But other than that, I really like the matchups on everything else other than possibly the baby Blacephalon / Turtonator welder combo.
Yeah.
But overall against the field, I think it's probably one of the strongest decks, right?
Agreed.
So let's go into tier 2. Decks that are just right there on the edge. They still will be heavily played. You need to be prepared for them, but they might not be as strong as they used to. So,
Guzzlord?
do you want to start us off with something like that?
Guzzlord? No.
Don't think so.
I think Mewtwo
Yeah,
could fit in that.
absolutely. I think it definitely drops a little bit. People are now more prepared to play against it.
It's now got the bad matchup there.
Yep. So I think it drops off a little bit, but I still like it. It's still strong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has nice versatility of attackers that it can use. Uh, I just don't know how effective that's going to be when you're running 4 Mewtwo Mews and only maybe 1 at the most 2 of your other attackers. So you would have to play like Lana's fishing pole to get them back, so you can reuse them.
Yeah.
So I think you can build it to to help out somewhat against the Guardy Sylveon matchup, but I think you still take a loss there, right?
Definitely.
And then Party Balloon's always going to be a struggle, right?
Mm-hmm. The 2 for 3 prize.
And then Garatina Garchomp, I think that comes down to the coin flip of who goes first.
It's going to be hard if they do run the Garatina, though, because it's going to be putting 260 on your Mewtwo.
Yeah. So, I don't necessarily. I think it drops off because I don't like its matchups against some of the rest of the field that might be more popular.
Yeah.
So, but I still really like the deck.
I do, too.
Um, the next spot, I have to go with the Zekrom Pikachu. It's still going to be super popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
People love it. It's super easy to pilot unless you're me. But I think Great Catcher does definitely help it, especially with the ability to switch and free retreat with the Zeraora.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it. So it's not entirely switch dependent. And then I also like that you can target down something and then you can maybe lock it with the Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu, you can do
Paralysis.
the GX paralysis. So I really like that option too. And then also with the GX attack, you can pull up something that you might be able to get 2 prizes on, and then you could get another 2 prizes off of Dedenne on the bench. Snipe, you know?
Yeah, now that there's no Tapu Lele, Dedenne,
So
great option.
I think it gains a little bit from the set when compared to other decks. So I think it could be all right. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's a terrible play. I think it's a safe play. So, you got something else?
Hmm.
That's tier 2 that's going to be popular that people should watch out for?
I can think of a lot of rogues in tier 3, but do you have any for tier 2?
Uh, I mean, it's still super popular, right? I mean,
Yeah.
people still love the Charizard Reshiram. You're able to put massive amounts of pressure on people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always the ongoing: do you play greens or do you not?
No.
We've always been favored more of a build away from greens, more like towards build.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really was fully on board with the super scoop ups because I don't like flippy cards. But we've always been more towards that style of Reshiram Charizard, right?
Yeah.
And then I think you can add some really nice single prize attackers to it, like the Turtonator or even Baby Party Balloon, that can kind of help out the prize exchange against some of the other decks.
Yeah.
So, uh, I don't necessarily like it better than our other options up here. However, I do like it against Guardy Sylvie, right?
The GX attack hitting for the one hit KO.
Yep.
That's pretty big. And they can't really stop it. There's no fire charm in the format.
So, I do like that matchup. So, if you're expecting kind of a heavy Guardy Sylvie field, I do like the Reshiram Charizard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so another one I have to put. Actually, there's two more I have to put in tier two, unless you got something else.
I was thinking Ultra Necrozma.
I think people are going to lean more towards the Giratina Garchomp. I think it gains more
That's true.
than the Ultra Necrozma. So, two other decks. We don't have it built, but the Baby Turtonator, Baby Party Balloon type perfection sort of deck, and then the Pidgeotto control deck.
Yeah.
We don't have either one of those built, but just know that they are solid. Uh, I personally am not a fan of either of these decks. We've tried Party Balloons, Baby Party Balloon several times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baby Bucephalon.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either, but Lesage has found an optimal way to play with both without having to use the Reshiram Charizard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely something to think about. Being able to great catcher up something and hit them super hard with an explosive jet or baby Blacephalons. So, I mean, there's a definite advantage in prize exchange. It's just a matter of, are you going to be able to re-access all those fire energies over and over and over?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at a list of something like just 4 welders as your only supporter, and then a ton of pal pads, and then a ton of the crystal to get them back,
Yeah.
and then fiery flints to get them into your hand, and welder. So that's basically your engine, and we've seen that kind of engine works with Reshiram Charizard. You know, running 4 Dedenes.
You don't have to. You don't have to worry about the constant getting it back though. The fire energies from the discard pile.
No, so it's good stuff. Yeah, that is the big thing about that. So you have to retool it a little bit different, but it is still a decent option. Then Pidgeotto Control. You want to talk about it?
Nah, that's all yours.
We've seen it. It's meant to deny prizes, run your opponent out of resources. I'm not a fan of these style decks. However, it is good. Uh, it, I think overall it does have a positive matchup against the Mewtwo because you can stadium lock them out of the game. It's just very setup dependent, and I think you know right away if you don't hit the elm or stuff like that to set everything up, get everything going, then you're gonna struggle.
Yeah.
So, but it is a good deck. I don't see it being played at challenges or cups, and for that reason, I'm gonna move it from tier 2 to Rogue, and that's strictly based on for League Cups. I don't see it being played
All right.
because of the time limit and being best of one. I think it's too risky, and I don't think you have to prepare. There's going to be a couple knuckleheads that play it, but overall, they're going to be few and far between.
Yeah.
Just don't be that guy or girl that hits that matchup.
I got some for tier 3.
Let's do it.
All the way over here, my BM.
Love it. Love the deck. Love the poke dolls.
It's great. It's super strong. And that's what puts it not in Rogue is the fact that it's super good. And there's a high chance of seeing it at a League Cup. Not many, like the Tier 1 or even Tier 2, but you might see a couple, and they'll perform well.
I think it's really good. I think it would obviously be higher if more people would play it, and that's why it's unfortunately in tier 3, and it's more based on its popularity than its strength, and that's what's so hard whenever we do these meta forecasts and meta games, is you have to balance popularity with strength of deck, and that's why we try to go through and explain why each deck is where it is. It's here strictly based on popularity, right?
Mm-hmm.
If if we were doing this completely based on strength of deck,
It'd be so much higher.
it's here or borderline tier 2, tier 1, purely based on strength of deck. But
Yep.
it's not going to be popular, therefore tier 3. What else you got?
I think the new deck over here. I think it's pretty strong. It's just I don't think very many people are gonna play it.
It is extremely strong. The problem is there's not a for sure list. So it's kind of like I see it having the same problem as this and this. There's going to be a greens list that's solid. There's going to be a non-greens list that's good, that runs around like Jirachi engine and all that. So with the Reshiram, you're going to have the Naganado build, and then you're going to have the turbo engine. I personally like the turbo engine rather than the Naganado engine.
I think if you're going for a Naganado, then you just run the Blaze Fawn.
Completely agree. If I'm running that sort of style deck, I still have the potential to one-shot anything in the field and only give up 2 prizes.
Yeah.
So, but if I'm looking to run the turbo engine, now I can put an insane amount of pressure on huge tag teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because there's not a fleshed out list, and I am in no way saying our list is perfect,
No.
but it's just going to have the same problems as Zekrom Pikachu did at the beginning. People will run like max elixirs and stuff like that, and then we had to change the list. And then same with Reshiram, Charizard. We're still trying to figure out the list. Is there a for sure answer of greens or Jirachi?
No.
There
Depends on the
isn't.
player.
Depends on the player. And that's how it's going to come down to Reshiram. There's no right or wrong. It's your playing style is going to dictate which list you go with.
All right.
So, it's good. Until people are more in tune with the list, people are going to play it. Don't get me wrong. People are definitely going to play it, but they might not have optimal list, and therefore the potential for them to be successful is going to diminish. So,
I think Ultra goes into tier 3 because there's a lot of other options that I think people would rather go to.
yeah, I agree. It's still good. It's still strong. I don't think when we really look at the dragon type or the psychic types, I don't think it's the optimal play. And so because of that,
No.
just strictly based on popularity, I think it fits there nicely, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got something?
I think single prize, and I think this could be
I agree.
again not based on the strength of the deck, because I happen to think it's actually one of the strongest, but it always has that Malamar.
Inconsistency.
I will never get it with the 4 Acrobike,
Jirachi.
4 Lily, Jirachi,
Cynthia.
4 Cynthia. I will never be able to explain why that happens, and it happens in every single Malamar deck. I can't explain it. It's just one of those deals. One out of 2 or 3 games, or 1 out of 2.5 games, you're gonna just completely dead draw and just fall flat on your face.
Dedenne. Cherish balls for Dedennes.
I don't get it. I cannot explain it. It's just one of those things. It's gonna happen. On paper, these 3 probably look like they have the most tools and resources to set up and everything and consistency, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's just one of those deals.
I think Aerodactyl might fit in the tier 3.
But going back to it, I love single prize. I love the versatility. Spell tag, super good. Hitting for 130 like we talked about. Great matchup here. You're always going to have a good matchup against Party Balloon. Because you can one-hit KO the Naganadals. Naganadal cannot one-hit KO you. A lot of positives here. All right, Aerodactyl. I don't see people playing it because of it just didn't perform well at Worlds.
Yeah.
It's a good deck. It just didn't perform, and I think that was based on kind of popularity. The more people that are going to play something, it skews the numbers. If only 5 people play it, like Be Him. There was 1 or 2 in day 2 at Worlds, and there was like 1 or 2 at day 2 at Worlds. Mm-hmm. Well, how many people actually played it?
Not very many.
So the numbers get skewed. So, there may be 5 people that played that, but 2 of them made day 2. Maybe 4 people played this, and only 1 or 2 made it. That's a 50% ratio. Well, how many people played Zekrom Pikachu and made day 2? What?
80 something.
800? 500, 400, 100 people played it, and then only, maybe 10.
That's odd.
10% ratio. So the numbers get skewed, and people translate that. Oh, there was 20 Zekrom Pikachus in day 2, and only 1 or 2 Aerodactyl or Behemoths. So Zekrom Pikachu must be the better deck, right? Wrong. It was more of a popular deck, so the law of numbers. So, So yeah, it's good. I just don't see it being popular.
You got any more? I was debating about the one over there.
I think it's too difficult to play.
All right, then.
And that's why I would put it. So we can go ahead and talk about it. And that's Checkmate. I do happen to think it is one of the best decks in the format. I also think, besides from maybe Pidgeotto Control.
No, I think it's harder than Pidgeotto Control.
Okay, there you go. So, I think it's the most difficult deck to play.
Yes.
With the Naganadal trying to get the GX attack, plus have all your Checkmate answers after you Stinger GX. Very, very difficult deck to play, but it has great matchups on everything. It is going to struggle against the single prize that can one-hit KO it because it is Psychic weak. That's the only issue. Behem's going to put a hurting on it. So, I just think against other Psychic variants, this is going to struggle, but against everything else, I think it's going to smash. I think it has the potential to just smash.
Yeah.
I would not recommend it in a best of 1. I think it excels in a best of 3, where you at least have a chance to look at your opponent's strategy, and then you have all the tools you need to counter that strategy.
Yeah.
So it excels in a best of 3 style format. So for a League Cup, League Challenge, I would not recommend this.
Okay.
All right.
We're just gonna start over here. It's Guzzlord.
People are gonna play it, right? There's gonna be 1 or 2 knuckleheads that play it, right?
Yeah.
And it's not the strongest dragon variant.
Oh, it's definitely one of the weakest.
Don't get me wrong, it's fun to play. And we've played it with kind of the Dark engine
We've
and
tried all
Malamar engine.
We've tried all types of stuff.
Malamar engine is definitely more consistent, more reliable, right? You basically tool it up like you would Giratina Garchomp or Ultra Necrozma, where they use the metal. This uses the fighting. This has the dark. So just retool it with the same engine as these and play it, and you're going to have some fun. You're going to win 1 or 2 games, and you're probably going to lose 2 or 3.
A lot more.
So, but it's fun. Malamar is the best variant to play, in my opinion. So,
Frostless. Just no one's going to play it.
no one's going to play it, but it's actually really good. It does have energy issues once every
Probably
2.5 games. Once every 3 games.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 3 games, you are going to have energy issues, and that will lead to a loss. So, in 6 games, you could be looking at a 4-2 record. So if that puts you in top cut, then it could be a very, very good option, right?
Yeah.
So it is among one of the best single prize attack decks. If we're looking at single prize, we'll get to that in a second. What you got over there for another single prize attack deck?
The Excadrill, the numbers are just super weak.
The numbers are really weird, so you need to really know what you're up against.
The bombs aren't very effective because the numbers are still off doing it. And then just its attack doesn't do it.
If there was more Zekrom Pikachu, then it could be really good. It just and then if there's high counts of Dedenne, you can just pick them off. But eventually, you're gonna have to start hitting into the beefier and bigger stuff, and you're gonna struggle.
Yep.
So, I agree. It is fun to play though, right?
Yeah, I enjoy it. Darkrai.
Oh. Folks, I've tried and tried and tried and tried to get it to work, tried to get it to be consistent. It's not happening.
No, it's not.
It's not happening. The Weavile GX is so good on paper, but setting it up has been the giant pain in the butt. I cannot recommend this deck for a League Cup or League Challenge where it's a best of 1 scenario. You will need a best of 3 tournament if you want to see success with it.
I don't even think it's that fun of a deck to play. Not setting up, in my opinion, isn't very fun.
It's not, because it's frustrating. So yeah, I would highly recommend staying away from it.
Next, the Lopunny.
It's an interesting one. I've never really been a fan.
I don't think it's good as a deck by itself. I think it might be pretty good in a Mewtwo deck, where with 3 energies you can do 60 plus, and then if they forget about a Lopunny being a thing and they just fill their bench up with a lot of GX, a lot of Dedennes and stuff, then you can hit high numbers.
A problem with it is your opponent can play around it.
Just like the old Empoleon.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my biggest problem with those style decks is
Old.
it's much easier to play around than to play around like Aerodactyl, where you have to have an extra energy to attack. This, I just limit my bench to what I need right now, and that also acts as, well, now you can't really great catcher up something on my bench because I'm playing around what your deck's trying to do, and I'm not giving you sniping options to pull up from my bench.
The HP is also low.
So when it comes down to it, there's not enough positives there.
No.
So, now let's get into single prize attack decks real quick. How would you kind of rank the single prize attack decks? We've got the Perfection, Baby Blounds, Turtonator. We got the Pidgeotto Control, Frostless, Excadrill, Giratina, Behemoth.
Behemoth is my number 1.
That would be my number 2. My number 1 would be the Garatina Malamar single prize.
That's my number 2.
My number 3 would be the Baby Blounds Turtonator.
Yeah. Okay. That can be my number 3 too.
Then my number 4 would be Frostless.
My 4 is going to be the Pidgeotto.
For a League Cup, League Challenge.
Oh.
So that's what you got to remember.
You're right. The Frostless then. And then Excadrill, then the Pidgeotto.
Yeah. But let's reverse that. Now we're talking a regional setting.
1.
Okay. I agree with Behem.
2.
Yeah, it pains me, but I agree with that.
3.
Yep.
4.
Yep.
5. 6.
Okay, so we're definitely on the same page on a League Cup versus a regional. So, all right, so let's move this out. What is going to be your 2 recommendations if you want to be successful at your League Cup or Challenge
Safe play?
this weekend coming up?
Safe play? The winning play.
Okay.
All right.
So you have Party Balloon as your safe play and Behem as your winning play.
Yep.
So my safe play
No, don't move those.
is this, and then I wish we had more time to test out a Tech-In Stinger GX inside the deck. I think that would be super cool to have that secret Stinger GX, really throw your opponent for a loop. Safe play though, Party Balloon. Winning play, Sylvegarde. It counters too much into the field right now. Or next weekend when the cards are legal. It counters everything that's probably going to be played. I don't see Garatina single prize attack deck being played. What else do you think beats it? That will see play popular wise.
I don't really even know.
Maybe the single prize Blounds Turtonator deck.
I say it and the Garatina have the best chances.
Say those 2 decks have good matchups there.
Yeah, that's around it though.
How popular are those 2 going to be though?
Both were in tier 3.
So
Or one was in tier 2.
So that's why I would put Guardy Sylveon as the winning play. And it actually might be my safe play pick, but I'm never going to go against Party Balloon.
Yeah.
Until I see evidence that it's no good, it's garbage, it's trash, it's not winning anymore. That's always going to be my recommendation.
Yeah.
But if you were to ask me, Poke Dad, which one of these 2?
Guardy Sylvie.
I think I would lean a little bit more towards Guardy Sylvie. It's able to just counter everything that I'm predicting to be popular.
Yeah.
It really is. So, all right. So, you got anything else, Dance Bear?
No, I don't.
All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us. This has been our meta forecast for the League Cup League challenges that Cosmic Eclipse will be legal for next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We will try to do another meta forecast for the regional on the 29th, since it will have Cosmic Eclipse. And we might have a little more information about what's being played at the League Cups and League Challenges, and then we can kind of rearrange based on the intel we're getting from the League Cups and Challenges on what you should play, what you should stay away from, right?
Indeed.
All right, so till then, be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.